Welcome to episode 3 of The Gamer Behind the Rose, Werewolf the Forsaken, Blood in the Soil, actual play. Things are moving right along with the story. Today we are back down our mechanic and our college student, but we have our fearless, grumpy uncle back with us. We will go ahead and start with a quick round of introductions. Jeremy, who are you and who are you playing?
Jeremy. I'm a Jeremy, and I'm playing a Spooky, the Blood Telling Writer.
Okay. Dennis, who are you and what are you playing?
Hey, I'm Dennis. I am playing a Bone Shadow Cahalith named Jim, and look forward to gaming for you.
Thank you. John, who the heck are you?
Hey, I'm John. I am playing in a Rock Iron Master named James.
Okay, and last but not least, Ender, who are you? What are you playing?
I'm Ender Astreus, and I'm playing a Eladoth Hunter in Darkness that goes by Uncle Ben.
Uncle Ben, wonderful. Okay, and I am David Fuller, tabletop gaming freelancer, mostly for Onyx Path, but I also do community content. While we are streaming here, feel free to head over to the StoryPath Nexus if you would like to check out some of my latest work. I mostly have been working on Scion, and play Scion, it's great. Quick reminder on content for this episode. We will not have any graphic depictions of sex in our video, and we will not have detailed damage or pain to nails or eyes. Other than that, we might cover just about any other topic. So that's just a general heads up. Cool. Okay, so when we last left off, the group was getting back from talking to their neighbor to the south. And they found out that the neighbor to the south is, in fact, curious about buying some of their farmland. They left on mostly friendly terms, and it sounds like soon there's going to be a meeting of the owners of the land to have discussions. But that will come at a later time. In addition, the half of the pack had traced the rat host down towards Iowa City. They noticed that there was other dead rat host, and they backtracked them. They know that one went off to the east, but they did not follow where those tracks go, and one went north. And they followed the ones north to Ely, Iowa, small town, where they found a rat host teacher gnawing on a janitor. A school was burnt down. Most of them managed to flee. One of them was seen in near man, clearly by a police officer that managed to succeed on his check to not go crazy. So I'm sure there will be no issues from that. Okay, to get everybody where they are right now, the mechanic has went into the barn to work on his passion project, which I'm sure will come and play at some point later in the season. The college student let the pack know that she has something she has to take care of in Cedar Falls, and jumped in her car and left. Meanwhile, after spending time hanging out with the family, talking with Ma, Pa, the various farm hands, Uncle Ben is no longer tied up in family matters and can now interact with the group. A few other things that happened. James, you applied to work at two different places. You applied to work at Strawberry Foods Deli and Bakery, and you applied to work at Casey's. Both of them offered you a job, working from 3 a.m. to 11 a.m., doing inventory restock and handling the morning rush and doing early morning food prep. Which job have you taken?
I decided to go ahead and work for Casey's.
Okay, great.
Free pizza.
hey, free pizza, right? Cool. So we will have that come into play in future sessions, but you have yourself a job now. Cool. Yep. So from there, you guys are on the farm. We will say this is the next day after Sarah's character ran off to Cedar Falls, and Uncle Ben has been out of the loop. Would anybody like to fill Uncle Ben in on the IC events?
Hey, I got a job.
That's fantastic.
What kind of job?
Mostly just stocking and like register work, I imagine.
That sounds awful.
I needed a legal income.
Always good to do nice hard wood labor, as is warranted with anyone in the family in any way, shape, or form. What else did I miss?
There's slightly less rat hosts.
Slightly fewer schools, also.
I'm sorry, what?
Strictly speaking, the rat host ratio to school is both. They're both down by 1.
I do recognize that does not seem like a good trade-off.
No. Are these, I assume, somewhat related?
It didn't seem like a great school. It had a rat host in it.
Was
It
it
didn't
nearby?
even have a janitor.
I mean, it had a janitor. That wasn't us, though.
Not by the time there was a rat host in it.
All right, so
Uncle Ben, you are aware that the burning down of Eli did make the news.
yeah. So let me make sure I'm understanding this. There was rat hosts that you dealt with in a school that is no longer there.
Well, it's
Why
rat
did you
host
burn down the school in Eli?
to make sure the rat host population stayed there.
And to cover up the fact from the not people that there was a cannibalistic rat the size of a person plus that was chewing on a janitor in one of the classrooms, because there was no way in hell we had time to clean that up before the dawn came.
And they saw the affair, but he was bigger than normal people talking form, so they probably can't find him.
This won't go back to be a problem at all. Not at all. Not in the least. All right.
I erred on the side of not murdering the policeman.
That was probably for the best. There's only so much we can deal with in terms of manhunts. In either case, where has our intrepid youngster run off to?
Some sort of phone call. I don't.
She would have said she was going to Cedar Falls. She's not going to let her pack know, where she's just not. You didn't feel she was necessarily being fully clear about the reason. She all of a sudden had to rush back to University of Northern Iowa for some reason, but she doesn't have any active classes this moment, so.
Right.
Weird.
All right. Thank you, David.
Yep.
Okay. So, James, you've gotten a job.
Yep.
We've had somebody who has been seen not looking like a person by the police, and you burned down a school. All in all, this is so far shaping up to be a very productive couple of weeks. How did the conversation go with the Smiths?
intensely, I suppose. They had, in fact, been approached by the same people that we had, and they kind of expressed that they're hoping to buy some more land, and they want to buy some of ours, which does not surprise me at all.
They want a meeting with Ma.
I'm sure they do. Right. Okay. That is another issue that we have to deal with. Okay. So, anything else that is important to know about?
There's at least one more rat host around somewhere.
We'll have to deal with that if it approaches the territory any further.
Also, a couple of them were killed near pure territory, so maybe this is a pure thing?
Maybe that is the Pierce problem?
Well, I mean, if
Pure's problem, but I don't know that the Pure have space cannons, because if the Pure have space cannons, then it's our problem.
right, I mean, if the point is they were killed near pure territory, the sort of people who probably want to kill something near pure territory would be the pure, so maybe they're the culprits.
But it's how they were killed that's kind of the sticking point.
Pure have their tricks.
Yeah, but if it's the Pure, that means they've come into our territory, because they had that same hole in the chest that we're all worried about. And
I
then
mean,
that's our problem.
It was the edges of our territory, but I mean, I'm not exactly going to say no to an excuse to fuck up some Pure.
Right.
Want me to go talk to them?
The Pure?
Yes.
You talking to the Pure nets someone's throat being ripped out.
Yeah, I think it was really he was asking if you wanted to talk to them.
I know.
I can... Okay, well, polite isn't the right word. I can converse with the Pure. Whether or not throat gets ripped out is on them.
I would rather we find something else productive to do with our time than talk to those fucks about literally anything. But it would be beneficial to know why there were rat hosts coming up from pure territory. Something that we'll have to consider when it becomes more important to do so. We have pressing matters here at home. So
I got a question for y'all. Given how things have been going lately, I had this dream and I thought of you guys. So there was this bar, see? And there was a fight, and then something happened, and a whole bunch of people got ripped limb from limb. And I know I say it was a dream, but it's that kind of dream, the Cahalith kind of dream. And there's some investigators looking into it. One of them's like super bright and shiny. The other one's kind of super dark and evil and spooky. And bar fight that turns into ripping people limb from limb sounds like the kind of thing somebody might have done.
I
You guys
didn't
know
do
anything
it.
about that?
I mean, I might do it, but I didn't do it this time.
Do you guys look into the news and see if the bar
at that
had
point,
any murders?
That's the first place to go. Yeah, what do we got on the news?
Okay. So on the news, it shows, it only covers, because it's on the opposite side of the state, it only covers like 30 seconds, minute of footage of police tape outside of Tailgaters Bar and Grill in Oakland, Iowa, where the local sheriff is saying that a bar fight turned bloody and went from just some bruises and broken bones to everyone that was there, including the bartender and wait staff, dying. The sheriff and his team are trying to figure out why things got so out of hand. They have called in some outside investigators to look into this.
Is Oakland claimed as territory by anyone?
Oakland is about a 15-20 minute drive east of Council Bluffs, all the way over on the other side of the state. The characters that are not Uncle Ben will remember that last week, Ma was distraught because there was a news article about a bank robbery in Council Bluffs ending with the bank robbers being ripped to shreds and all of the surviving witnesses being too traumatized and covered in blood to give coherent statements. So if you look at an Iowa map, basically that massacre happened in-game about 4 to 5 days ago here, and then just a little bit over on the map, like last night, another massacre happened. But it's very far from you, so I'm sure it's fine.
Sure.
Is it heading towards us?
In the
You
sense
really have to
that you
ask.
in the sense that you are east of it.
Okay, just wanted to make sure the spatial arrangement is what I thought it was.
I mean, it needs to make it through like Des Moines, which is known to have 3 or 4 packs. So if it's a werewolf thing, I'm sure it's fine. But
That's a big if.
Protect us, Des Moines.
Big if.
Yep.
Big.
Okay. So yeah, so
Right.
you guys could look into that stuff, even though it is way outside your territory. You guys could go and try to check in on your packmate that went to Cedar Falls, though the player's not here, so that would be a weird one. You could go and try to follow the other track for the other rat host. At this point, it's a couple days old, but you guys are naturally good at tracking, so you guys could poke the pure if you wanted. Also, Jim, you had asked me about reaching out to other werewolves. I fleshed out the state a bit more. You have the point of contact for some werewolves in Dubuque, some werewolves in Cedar Falls. And you are aware of some of the names of werewolves in Des Moines, but you don't have their point of contact. So you could ask a spirit to go reach out to them if you wanted. So those are options. If you would like to say that you've reached out to some of the werewolves in Dubuque to ask about the weird spirit thing, the weird ephemera that you found, I'm okay saying you did that?
Yep, that's what I wanted the information for.
Cool. Okay. The pack van by the river will get back to you in an email and let you know that they are happy to look deeper into that for you, but they can't spare anybody at the moment for reasons that the other 2 packs in Dubuque have not been able to get down to the bottom of. They are getting just a wave of spirits, ghosts, and other things that have been manifesting. So they are being run ragged, shoving all that stuff back where it should go, and pulling strings in the mortal world to make sure that doesn't make the news. So they are busy. But if you want to bring the ephemera to them, they'll take a look at it. Or you can wait until they're done fixing their problem, and then they'll send somebody out to the farm.
Okay.
Yep.
Does anybody want to make a road trip down that way?
If they're asking for assistance in exchange for assisting us, it wouldn't be a bad idea.
And the nice thing with how Forsaken 2.0 packs work is half the reason you have a small army of NPCs is so you can go, I suppose we could leave our territory for like a road trip.
Again, Girl
1.0
Scout
it
this.
was, we literally are leaving our territory undefended. Oh well. Right. So
I'm pretty sure the bull will maul somebody if they try to attack the territory.
A conversation that happened after the recording, the totem has become more powerful, and now everybody in the pack, including the bull and everybody else, has a dot of brawl.
This can take werewolves above 5.
Yes.
Good to know. I've added that to my character sheet. Thank you for the update.
Yep. Cool. So you have a lot of floating hooks. What would you like to do? Or would you like to just wander the fog of war that is Iowa aimlessly?
Personally, I'm up for us addressing any of the items. I would like to make sure that we as a group are chasing the ones that the majority of us would like to do. But if somebody had one in particular to deal with first, I'm all for it, such as the one Dennis just unearthed with the issue in Dubuque. So I'd be down for that. But I'm here to have fun. Let's get froggy.
Let's road trip this. Maybe someone else has run into similar problems.
Okay, cool. Okay, so what you know about the 3 packs that are in Dubuque. Last time you heard, the packs are banned by the river, which protects the patrols the Mississippi River, which Dubuque is right on, for those that don't know the map. There's Eagles Point Pack, which there's a large park in northern Dubuque, also by the river, but there's a large park called Eagles Point, and there's a pack that's claimed that. And then there is Guard Dogs, and Guard Dogs are primarily Iron Masters with a few Stormlords, and they sit in Dubuque proper, and so they are the ones using all their influences, statuses, things like that, in order to make sure that the Dubuque area does not know about the Forsaken or things in the Forsaken's world. So you are aware of those groups. Cool. So it's the 4 of you available. Do you take any of the NPCs from your pack? I assume Uncle Ben takes the Hound Dog.
Oh yeah, at a minimum, I'm bringing the old dog with us. I probably not going to bring the young dog at the moment, just because he's not as easy to control. So,
Okay.
And yeah,
That's fair.
but other than that, anybody else got anyone that they would want to bring along?
Scarecrow doesn't move around a bunch, and Winter's probably unhappy right now.
Yeah, I think I'm going to leave the spirits here.
Okay.
Oh, I know what we should do. So, in character, Jim, you should see if there's anything that they specifically might need for us to bring along with. That way we can show that we are willing to put resources into assisting them as a good olive branch for them to assist us further, perhaps more than just our current issue.
Yeah, I'll let them know that we're coming, obviously, so that we don't just show up unannounced, and ask them if there's anything they want us to bring or do.
They are lacking people in gifts that provide things like divination and stuff like that. So if any of you happen to have that, that would be fantastic. As Roetha said in the chat, a plate of Ma's cookies. Yeah, so that's their big thing. They can currently, they have the gifts that let them do damage to ghosts. They are able to social spirits and ghosts enough to get them to calm down. If you have anybody that has weird arcane occult knowledge, the things that they refuse to discuss in chat or over the phone, for reasons like you're picking up, you guys, if Dennis shows you like the chat communication, you guys can all make a wits empathy if you would like to pick up why they're actively avoiding talking about the things.
Alright, not really spooky bailiwick, but still 1 success.
Okay.
On 1 die.
I also got 1 success.
Hey, it's a success.
I'm sorry, what was that roll? I missed it.
Wits empathy.
Also a success.
Right.
Not a success.
Aw.
Is it dramatically not a success?
Yes, it is.
Way to be. Way to be. Okay. So, James, you are convinced that they have some sort of surprise for you guys. You've always been on, even though like you don't get to see each other very often, you've been on relatively friendly terms with the Dubuque Packs. They've missed several birthdays. You're thinking you're going to get there and they're going to pull like a big surprise party, or they're going to do a friendly like jump in and like be like, hey there, like they've got some sort of the thing, huh? Or perhaps it's some sort of innuendo, like, we got the thing. Like, you're not sure, but you're thinking they're gonna surprise you guys. Those goofballs. The other three, whatever this thing is, it terrifies the person sending the message. So they are generally scared to talk about the thing. It's like, oh yeah, we're dealing with Death Eaters, and we're dealing with like just general evil wizards, and we're dealing with he shall not be named. And it's that sort of deal, is what you're picking up. So yeah. Do you want to ask anybody about your farm to see if they know things? You're not giving a lot to work off of, but
So they're talking about having a lot of ghosts and
a lot of
spirit
ghosts and
problems.
spirits are manifesting in the physical out of nowhere. This usually, just without a lore check or anything, or knowledge occult check, this usually means that the gauntlet's thin. This usually means that there is a unmonitored locus, or maybe a scar. But if it was a scar, they would have mentioned that it was a scar, because when spirits go through a scar to get into the physical, it mutates them. It makes them put on little evil mustaches and become the evil version of themselves. And they would have mentioned that. From what you're getting from these messages, it's just spirits are popping up and manifesting in the physical. So thin gauntlet, a locust, somehow they didn't discover it. Those are the likely.
Host.
If anybody would like to do like an into cult check, and I know at least one of you has a spec in spirits, you can see if you can think of other possibilities, but those are the ones you just have off the top of your head.
No successes from Spooky.
One
What?
success.
Dramatically no successes from Spooky. What the hell do I think this is?
One success.
Two.
John?
Oh, hold on. One success.
Okay, cool. Hey, the ones with one success, you're thinking it must be a thin area of the gauntlet that they haven't discovered, because a loci can only go around so long before 3 packs in a town the size of Dubuque, they're going to notice it. Somebody eventually will notice it. So the one successes are thinking it's most likely thin gauntlet. Dennis, with your 2 successes, what would make sense for them not noticing it would be if someone or something was very carefully making the gauntlet thin, or making an area where spirits could cross over. So
Rat host? I do have a host spec.
could be rat. Yes, rat host could do this. They're not the only thing in existence that could do this. Any powerful spirit with the right gift could chip away at the gauntlet and lower its level. There's a lot of things, but your gut tells you this is something or someone in a controlled, like, if I do it in the basement of this building, the werewolves will never notice, weakening the gauntlet. You don't know why weakening the gauntlet would also allow more ghosts to start manifesting. You are not sure why weakening the gauntlet would allow things to start manifesting. But it seems like a conscious effort. Okay. Does anybody have any other questions or things that they need to do on the farm before they leave?
Dramatic failure of the occult check.
Oh, sorry. Yes, thank you for reminding me. Dramatic failure for the occult check. Okay. Ghost, spirits, and things all getting out. This sounds like a plot by some sort of evil group. The pure often convince spirits we're the good guys by encouraging spirits to run wild. And you know there's pure in Iowa City, and that's only like an hour and a half drive. So you need to
pure.
James is keeping his eyes out for balloons and party hats. You need to keep your eyes out for some sort of organized enemy force. Okay. So
I think the pure are going to throw us a surprise birthday party.
It's worse than I thought.
Wonderful. Okay. So, any other final prep on the farm?
Going to have make sure Fisher is aware that we are leaving, and that he should definitely keep his phone nearby in the event that we have a question for him. Other than that, get a batch of Moz cookies and a couple extra arrows and my stuff together, and yeah, that's what I got.
Okay. Anyone else? Cool. John, you're the only one not shaking your head.
Nope.
You ready?
Cool. Yep.
Okay. You guys are all assumed to have the weapons you normally have with enough ammo. You are assumed to be loaded with enough cookies to share. Okay, cool. You load up in one of the many vehicles that you have on the farm that is big enough for all of you plus the dog. And you head up to Dubuque. You do not run into any strange occurrences or anything weird on the way up to Dubuque. Let's see. So you'll get to Dubuque. We'll say that was morning. You'll get to Dubuque around lunchtime. You will notice as you approach Dubuque a site-based perception check.
It's 2 successes.
Okay.
4 successes. I'm on the lookout for those pure.
I dramatically fail. That is, I am rolled, got no successes, taking the direct failure.
Good. It is a new scene.
I will take informed.
Hey, cool.
5 successes.
Cool. And John, did you tell me what you got?
Yeah, 2.
2. Okay. Cool. So the 2, you see there are a lot more spirits like active in like the spirit realm. A lot more spirits than you would think in a healthily patrolled area. It's not that werewolves are like, you know, most werewolves don't tell all of the spirits to like F off, but you try to keep them orderly because that way they can't overwhelm and start spilling into the physical. With 4 and 5, you see that there's some like floating near areas where you assume, without activating a gift or something, you assume the gauntlet must be thin because they're actively, like, you see like a bird spirit sitting and like pecking at the air. like it's testing if it can cross over here. You see a few spirits doing things like that as you enter town. So clearly they are aware there are places nearby that they can cross over. And the dramatic failure. Does Uncle Ben drive?
I don't have any dots of drive, but that doesn't mean I'm not the one driving.
I could drive if you need. I do have drive.
Okay, cool. So James, make me a Dex plus drive check. I'll go ahead and give you a +2. As Uncle Ben goes, oh, I haven't been in Dubuque for a while. Look over there. That's that cereal factory. And without thinking, like puts his hand in front of your face as you're driving.
And this is how we lose the truck.
Come on, second dramatic failure.
No, definitely not a dramatic failure. I got 5 successes, actually.
You get to take a condition.
Yeah, I'm going to look up conditions real quick. I'll let you know when I've made a decision.
You can recommend literally any condition as long as it's appropriate for you to have gained from succeeding at that check.
I'm going to...
Leverage
I'm going to take
towards...
inspired, actually.
Inspired. You're inspired by your driving skills. You're like, swerve! Uncle. Okay, so you guys head on in. You can see markings on buildings in First Tongue that you have entered the, in the downtown part of Dubuque, you have entered the guard dogs territory. While the van by the river pack was going to spread word of your coming to everybody else, they were the main ones you were talking about. To get to them, you've got to drive through downtown, which it's Dubuque. Well, assuming you don't hit red lights or traffic, it only takes like 15, 20 minutes, and then you're through downtown. And then you are down by the river. You can see the Mississippi River. And yeah, you can see down a side path that's next to some factory buildings. There's a series of vans that have made kind of like a caravan campout area. And you can see several spirits there. You see you see the 5 members of the pack hanging out there. They're a few of them are smoking cigarettes. Some of them are warming their hands around a fire. And they're just out of sight from the road, so nobody's wondering why people are camping in the city. And one of them sees you guys' car, gives a wave.
I'll pull over into that area.
Okay, cool. The one that gave a wave approaches you. Her name is Sarah, and she is a Iron Master Eladoth. And she comes forward, and she's wearing kind of ragged clothes. If you were not aware that this might just be an act, you would think that she's a beggar or a homeless person. If you were in an alternate timeline or dimension, you would assume she was a bone gnar. Yeah. She goes, "Thank you for coming." And those Ma's cookies?
Of course they are.
Hey, they brought Ma's cookies. And like some of the other members, you hear them go, "Woo! Ma's cookies!" They come over. So Sarah fills you in on what they know as you guys share cookies. They know that a couple weeks ago, a lot more spirits started coming to this area and actively trying to find a way to cross over. And when they asked spirits about it, the spirit said that it is known that there is a place somewhere in this area, in this city, that we can go to the physical without any resistance. It is known. Around the same time, a lot more ghosts started haunting the area. When the ghosts were poked about it, the ghost said that they were where they were, and now they are here. When particularly prodded, they could explain where they were was someplace where dead sit in transition, but none of them particularly knew why they're now here. It is clear that Sarah and none of her pack wish to talk about the other things. Does anybody want to do some sort of social check to kind of ease her into talking about the things at least a little bit more?
I will.
I was
Right,
going to
cool.
say, I'll scare her
Present
into talking about
socialize
it.
with a spec and gossip.
Sure. Basically, you can bounce the questions off of the people in the pack until eventually you pick up information.
And I'll spend a willpower for rote on this.
Cool.
Six successes, I will be informed about the thing.
Fair enough. So the thing is actually a couple things, but the pack has classified them all together as the thing because they have no creature classification for this. They fought one that attacked them when they were fishing the other day. It came out of the river. It looked like a mechanical merman, like a giant mechanical merman.
Somebody's building robots to attack people.
And they saw something that looked similar that has been at night from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. It appears above downtown. It looks like an angel made out of flesh and machinery, and it flies around the top of the city. It doesn't interact with any of us. It doesn't seem to do anything to anybody. And then it was just a few days ago that the guard dog pack reported that the local cemetery has had an old man that seems to, you can see cogs in places where he's missing skin. He has been raising the dead in a graveyard and having conversations with them before reburying the dead. And the guard dogs have they've been just monitoring him because he hasn't like released an army of zombies or anything like that. But he's just doing weird stuff. And the thing that seems to connect these three things is that they all seem to be related to machinery.
Somebody's building steampunk robots.
And they did not appear until the spirits and ghosts started appearing. And we have no idea what's going on. We haven't found a particularly thin part of the gauntlet. We haven't discovered, like, we know, as far as we are aware, between the three of us, we know where the locais are in this area. And like they gesture, like the reason they camp right here is because there's like the Mississippi River is just filled with loci. And so like you can stand on the edge of it and you can be like, oh, okay, if I put my feet in here, loci. But I can look and I can see way around the bend. If I could somehow swim in the middle of the Mississippi, good effing luck. But you're werewolves, so you know. There's loci over there. And so, yeah. But inside of the city, the guard dogs know where like the 2 loci that are in the city are, and they claim them and keep them safe. And Eagles Point, they've got a nice healthy loci in the middle of that park, and they protect that. That's it. We don't think there's any other place where spirits could just pop back and forth over around here.
Is there any places, such as factories in the area, that have either come under new management, ownership, or perhaps recently even built?
Asking that question may get the NPCs to see what they know. Give me a
That's what
sec.
I'm asking. Yeah.
Sarah will be informed on the thing that she didn't think about until you asked. It's like, you know, there's a factory not that far from here. You guys are standing in front of or behind a factory. There's a factory not too far from here that nobody had been using for a couple of years. And recently about 3-4 weeks ago, some like really shady vehicles showed up. Like they seem to be military or government or corporation. And they seem to turn one of the factories back on. We had a few spirits poke around, and the reports back were that they just seem to be sitting at desks with computers. They were processing data. Like it didn't seem worth us kicking in the door over and risking a fight with the G-Man. But yeah, now that you mention it, yeah, they moved in shortly before all this stuff started happening.
So, do you have any good rapport with some of the spirits that might be able to do some investigating on that in that area?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we could send the spirit that checked it out the first time back. And you could see that a member of their pack is a rank 2 rat spirit that's just kind of scurrying around, eating like the ephemeral crumbs of Mom's cookies, because Mom's cookies are made with love. And so, yeah, and so Rat's been listening, and it kind of squeaks at Sarah, and Sarah goes, "Can you go back to the same place you went before, buddy? And it just don't be seen, and then come straight back here. Let us know what's going on." And it squeaks, and it runs off. And she's like, assuming it doesn't run into issues, it'll probably be a couple hours before it gets back. If you want to do anything else in the town, or like we could take you to that graveyard where that weird guy is, or if you don't want to deal with the thing any more than we want to deal with the thing, we could cast some rods in the river.
How far apart are all of these things?
It's Dubuque, so not super far apart. Like Dubuque is indeed a city. It like absolutely would cast a shadow over Strawberry Point, but that's to say it has a Best Buy. But it is people that will watch this later from Chicago and Boston and St. Louis and stuff that have never heard of Dubuque would not consider it a city. Roa Ifa wouldn't consider it a city. So yeah, so that's I see where you're going with it, but they're not terribly far apart just because of the nature of the area. Like none of them are more than a 20-minute drive away from each other.
So, here was my thoughts.
Okay.
Sarah, your pack has the need for those who have a bit more in the divination category. Both myself and Jim have the ability to read the loom and see what additional insights we can glean. But there is a distance that we will have to manage. If the factory is the source of it, if we're close enough, we might be able to pull some more threads and get more information gleaned. But since these effects are occurring all over the city, how much have you and the guard dogs been sharing information?
We've been sharing information pretty well. We've been all trying to work together on this because it's affecting the whole city, not just one specific section.
Right. It might be beneficial for us to know what the official byline on the factory is as far as who owns it now.
I could call the guard dogs. They're more the ones that watch that.
Might be beneficial, especially if we're going to be potentially snooping in their territorial area. So,
give me a sec. So she pulls out a phone, places a call. It's like, yep. Nope, the outside help I talked about got here. Nope, they're all gone. You should have been here to eat them. Not my problem. Yeah, so that shady group that showed up about a month ago or so at the factory over on 7th Street. What do you know about them? Do you have any idea what that means? Okay. Okay. I'll let the out-of-towners know. Thanks. Hangs up. So it apparently took almost this whole month for them to dig through all the red tape and everything. This is apparently a group that is funded and monitored by the government, but officially an independent entity. Most likely, so on the off chance people like us that are snooping around discover they're up to stuff, the government can put its hands up and say, oh, they're not part of us.
Contractors.
Yep. They're apparently a group called RD13, but the other pack was not able to figure out what the R or the D means. But it could just be Research Development 13, which that's weird. But yeah, they could not figure out what they do other than they are a shadowy group that the government funds but does not officially own, and the government has laid down layers of red tape to make it so that things like simple Google searches to the Better Business Bureau cannot find out anything about this group.
Excellent. So, our choices are to go snooping ourselves and wait for your companion to return before we do any extra digging in that location.
Mm-hmm.
I'm open to suggestions, comrades.
I want to talk to the old man. Well, I want to sniff out the old man, and then possibly talk to him.
It would be beneficial to get a little bit more about the other places that are not the factory.
Possibly followed by talking to him.
Do we know, are there people at that factory all the time? Does it seem like they're running it 24 hours?
It does seem that there is some staff there all the time.
Perhaps even more active in the evening than in the day. Who knows?
I'd like to get somewhere I can cover as much of the area where weird stuff is happening as possible with my facet.
Okay. What's the range on it again?
2 mile or a 1 mile radius.
Okay.
For me.
Okay.
It's the same for me too. So.
And which gift is this again?
Read the world's loom. It is an insight gift.
Insight. Cool. Um, if you were like in the middle of downtown, you would at least cover the weirdness with Spirit's Ghost and the Thing that comes out at night.
I can work with that. Is that too far from the factory?
You could, if you shifted closer to the factory, you wouldn't get the angel that flies around at night, but you'd get the factory and the graveyard. Would you rather get that?
If there's a locus around here they'll let me use, I can just do it twice.
Yeah, they'll let you use the locus, so you could do it twice. So first time downtown to get the one that flies around, and there's more spirit and ghost activity downtown.
Actually, I know how we can do this. So Jim can go to the one, whichever one you'd like, and I can take the other location, and we can kind of overlay.
Okay.
Also, that splits the essence cost.
Yep.
I'm just sitting on a couple of informed conditions that I can use to upgrade to exceptional successes when I do it, if I don't get a
That's
full
fair.
exception.
Okay. So if you want Jim to do it, they will.
Yeah.
Okay. You'll use it once. You'll go down 5. They'll let you use one of the locusts that's in the Mississippi. You'll go back to full, and then you'll spend 5 again. So you'll be down 5 as if you used it once.
Fair.
Okay, cool. Okay, so make your roll for downtown.
That is 5 successes, naturally. And supernatural and gauntlet.
Cool. Okay. Someone is forcing the gauntlet open against its will. Supernatural. The servants of something beyond your understanding are being set loose in the area because something is opening a hole to their realm.
Well, that doesn't sound good.
I'm going to take Inspired on the Thing.
Okay. Go for it.
That sounds awful.
Okay. Cool. So then you're going to go and move closer to the factory and the graveyard and do the check again?
That's the plan.
Okay, do it again.
Seven successes on that one.
All right.
I built for this.
Nice. What 2 topics do you want to cover?
The supernatural, definitely, and give me a second to think of the other one.
Okay.
We'll go with threats.
Okay. Supernatural. A servant of something beyond your understanding is doing its purpose. Threats. if some ignorant people keep doing the things they're doing, something very threatening will enter reality, and the ignorant people will not be able to stop it. Muted. Dennis, you're muted.
Can I spend the informed condition that I just got to determine who the ignorant people might be?
Yeah, government contractors.
Cool.
Yeah.
I will let the pack know this. The Riverband people.
So, with that, without a check, I'll just let you guys kind of put a little bit together. Government contractors are finding a way to rip holes in reality. They have let things into reality. You're not sure why they did this. You're not quite sure how they're doing it.
I think I need to talk to a government worker.
So I presume that we're going to be burning down another building.
I said,
Let's
I said,
not get too hasty
I said
here.
talk, not talk. Talk.
You meant talk to the hand, the werewolf hand with the claws.
Yeah. The threat that's coming that they cannot stop is your hand.
We will need to stop them from what they are doing. I don't know if we need to resort to outright violence.
I just want to talk.
You sure you do, Spooky?
So by the time you regroup after he's went around and done his thing,
Yeah.
And you guys probably ate lunch, any of you at Primal Urge 2 technically can't just eat Ma's cookies. You have to eat Ma's cookies as a side, like with a side of meat.
This
Just
is
so
what the
you're
beef
aware.
jerky is for.
Yeah, keeps the beef jerky in the pocket so you can snap into a Slim Jim. Like, chocolate chips and beef.
I mean, I can't speak about cookies, but I do know that there is an old-style fudge recipe that has ground beef in it.
Sounds delicious to Uncle Ben.
So it wouldn't surprise me if there were cookies that were the same.
So, okay, you regroup. By the time you regroup, Rat comes skittering back. It squeaks to Sarah. Sarah lets you know that the building has three. It's been divided with fake walls into 3 sections, and in each section is a big circle. And Rat witnessed one of the circles turn on, like energy shot through it. This circle had nothing to do with the gauntlet. Rat was scared by the energies that were coming out of it because it reminded Rat of Ghost. And humans put on big yellow suits and held a bunch of computer devices and turned on lights on their heads and walked into the circle.
Oh, good. So they're reenacting the plot of Stranger Things.
I was also going to say the plot of the 3 different Stargate episodes.
Insert shady government experiment here.
Yeah. But yeah, so Rat did note that one of the circles that was not being used really, really smelled like the gauntlet. And Rat has no idea what the other circle is used for.
Okay, so I want to make sure that we're clear here. They're basically opening holes into various realities. My ability to say we shouldn't just trash this place has significantly diminished.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it seems like we're gonna have to burn down another building today.
I just want to talk to one thing. Then we burn down the building. Okay, then we might burn down the building.
You also might need definitely more than us and the van by the river pack for this. But
When they
depending upon how many
say
are there,
a big circle, how big are they talking about here?
Rat looks around and like stands up on its back legs and like takes its little rat hands. It's a ring tooth spirit, so it's a very large rat, but it's not a full-on rodent of unusual size. And it takes its little rat hands and it's like, and Sarah looks at you and goes, well, like 15 to 20 feet tall. You are not sure how she got that from little rat hands going.
So they can drive a van through that thing.
Yeah.
All right. I'm on board with Spooky's idea of talking to them. I'm also on board with Spooky's idea of talking to them.
Sarah says that she can, if you think we need to like call in everyone because of how close things are, we could get Eagles Point Pack and the guard dogs all like standing outside of the factory, ready to pounce if we need to.
How many of the humans were present?
Rat sits and goes, does this for a bit, goes,
that's what, 30?
yeah.
Yeah, we can take him.
I agree with you that we could take them, but it would be much easier to clean up, especially considering that this is not our city, not our territory. It would be best to allow for those who control this area to dictate the terms of how we approach this. So our suggestion as the outside support would be to state that the factory is the source of the initial problem. If we shut that down, then you might be able to clean up. How you would like us to shut that down, either you, the guard dogs, and us all together, or however, I'm willing to take a lead from your step.
Okay.
One thing I would like to say I can contribute is if I can see whoever's in charge there, I can get perhaps a lot of information about them and whatever organization they work for. But I do need to see them.
Okay. She says, let me call the other two packs. They can come here. We can brief them on what we know, what we're thinking. We can go from there. And so she places a couple calls. About a half hour later, 10 more werewolves that you loosely recognize some of them. I won't make you memorize unique names, but 10 more werewolves show up. They have an assortment of spirits and wolf-blooded with them. And you guys fill them in on everything you know. The guard dog pack thinks on the talk and then talk. Ask, as far as the first talk, which one of you is the best at communicating with humans?
Depends on what you want them to say.
If you're wanting to actually get information out of them, that is most likely going to be me or Jim. If you want to scare it out of them, it's most likely going to be Spooky.
Okay. Okay. So.
Also, if it's a contractor, trigger fingers, they're more likely to shoot than ask questions.
I'm real good at making the small talk, not as good at bringing people around our way of thinking. You get my meaning.
Okay.
I'm very persuasive.
Okay. Well, how, if you successfully solve this problem for us, how are we repaying you? I didn't quite get those details from Sarah.
Jim?
So we had a little incident on our territory, dead rat host, and we didn't kill it. And whatever did left a foul stink in its chest that we can't quite place. Some kind of rotten, corrupted ephemera. And we're trying to get some information about what's going on with that, because that ain't right. And so if you all can take a good sniff of this little bottle here and tell me if it rings any bells, that's really all we're looking for.
I will throw in one additional piece, which is that we might have some items on the physical side that a consultation might be helpful insofar as some business elements that need to be addressed in relation to our territory. So
okay, I think that sounds fair. Like, everyone's either not caring or nodding in agreement. There's nobody here that seems to have an issue with that. Like, okay, so in that case, you guys came up with the plan. What we will do is we will let you take the lead, and we will all stay by outside, making sure in case talking goes poorly, we can get in quickly. And we will leave our extended pack, and they nod to like the wolf-blooded. We'll leave them outside in case the next version of talking doesn't keep people from running out of the building. We will make calls ahead of time to make sure that it is documented that the building's being, since the building hasn't been used in years, the building is being considered for demolition. We will also call ahead to make sure police do not respond to any calls from locals that hear commotions coming from the direction of the building.
sounds like a very solid plan.
Okay, let's do that tonight. It'll be easier for us to stand by in the shadows when there's more shadows. Cool.
All right. Then in the meantime, we have a few hours, so we should get everything ready that we will need in order to make this happen. Do we have more? We need to make sure we have what Rat has told us as far as the layout of the building. We need to make sure that we have good egresses into the building for other people if we happen to get bogged down in the front door. And we also need to determine if we're going in the front door or a side door. Because while I'm a big fan of saying, knock, knock, it's the Girl Scouts, I have some cookies to sell, I'm fairly sure they're not going to accept that as a reason. So we're going to need to come up with some additional rationale for why we specifically are showing up.
Well, yeah, if that was the plan, we should have rationed the cookies better.
Well, yeah.
Okay. So the general information I can give you, there's 3 entrances into the ground floor of this former factory. There's a back entrance that's by the river. There is a front entrance that's by the road. There's a side entrance that is around the parking lot. There is a second layer to this factory. You can get directly into that through kind of like a fire escape that's on the other side of the building. So really, from the outside, you can enter 4 different ways, not counting jumping on the roof and trying to go down through a vent or like thing.
I like the fire escape.
Yeah. The second level is where they would keep all their offices when it was an active factory. So there's not a lot up there, but and according to Rat, fake walls have been erected, dividing the factory floor into 3 big sections, not counting the front door. So the front door is a section, and then there's the fake walls that have divided it into 3 other sections. The section to the left of the front door is where the circle that has scary death stuff is. The circle kind of directly back from the front door is the one that smells like the gauntlet. And the circle to the right of the front door, Rat has no clue what the heck that circle is.
Does Rat know what material they were all made of? Does it appear to be metal, or does it appear to be...
It's a metal Rat has not seen.
Okay. Great. I wonder if us snapping through it with our massive great swords for teeth might do something.
Only one way to find out.
Right. Okay. In which case, what do we want to have as our cover story for why we're pestering them? I'm open to suggestions.
I was just planning on merging in. It's not like this is probably not going to be friendly for very long, so it's not like trying to come up with a, we're your best friends. It's going to be all that helpful in the long run.
True. Anyone else?
Also, I want to use the fire escape.
I actually think that's a good idea, because if you, out of character, if you go in via the fire escape, while one or two of us make an initial distraction at the side door, as an example, then we can essentially ambush them accordingly. And if, let's say, I pull off I'm a stinking drunk that thinks that this is a great idea of a place to hang out for an evening, which isn't too far off anyways, then we can have a barge in and barge out. I can try and get whatever things I can get them to slip up and say what they're doing, at least to get a little more details before we push the faces in.
I had a thought. Why don't we just look across the gauntlet and get a lay of the land first before we go in on the ground? Maybe get some information about what the situation looks like before we charge in?
That's a good idea as well.
Okay.
So round up, get on site, and then do some investigation on the spirit side, and then decide from there where how we approach.
Okay. You can do that. You've got the handy dandy locust right there at the river that you could cross over without any issue.
Cool.
Okay. Cool. So you and a handful of the local werewolves cross over to do some initial spirit scouting. So you get to where the factory is, and it's existed long enough that it's got a ephemeral image. And you walk through its doorway, and you see an assortment of spirits just bouncing around the back of this building. They seem to be clustered in one area. The larger spirits are shoving the little ones out of the way. And they are spirits of all types. The biggest spirit you see is a rank 3 that's just knocking the rank 2s around, and the rank 1s are running away from. And they all seem to be clustered around.
If they don't seem immediately threatening, I'm going to move my senses across the gauntlet as full action, so I don't have to pay for it, and take a look around on the material side, specifically looking for somebody who looks like they're in charge.
Okay. So before you find somebody that's in charge, looking across, you now know what Rat's talking about. There have been temporary walls, like white curtains on scaffolding to divide up this place into sections. You can see what is best described as a Stargate, but they tower up to the second level, almost touching the scaffolding. From where you are peering across, you can see there are 3 of them. None of them are currently on. In front of each of them are dozens of thick cables and wires coming off of the base and going to control panels. People are walking around. Most people are walking around wearing lab coats, clearly scientific engineering crew. There is an assortment of guards, but it's not like full-on military. This is a classified base, so we have assigned. You count 2 guards with like standard issue assault weapons, standing at each entrance on the inside, and 2 guards standing upstairs at the scaffolding. They have basic Kevlar vest on. You look around. Make me a site-based check. Actually, make me wits plus politics. The politics skill literally exists for I want to identify the hierarchy. It's almost its only use.
Identifying vampire status.
It's also good for, basically the knowledge of politics. So.
Yeah.
I got a success.
Okay.
Glad I took it out of politics.
Right?
All right. So there is a guy that he has a dress shirt that he has he's removed the tie. Like you can see that they've set up like a little partition to give him a tiny office. Like he's got a little desk, and he's put a tie down on it, and he's put his suit jacket around the chair, and he's rolled up his sleeves, and he's just kind of walking around, checking out the different areas. People are checking in with him. They seem to be telling him like they're showing him things on clipboards, and he's like, So what gift are you wanting to use to figure things out about him?
I would like to use Know Thy Prey.
Okay.
And spend for road on this, because I'd really like to get at least 5 successes.
Okay.
Only 3, but I will upgrade it to an exception.
Okay.
My floating informed. And so I get any name he is known by or titles, his contact merits or allies.
Okay.
Basically all of his social merits up to 3 dots, or 5 if you let the exceptional count as 5 successes for the purposes of that.
Okay. Sure. His name is
And also something super compromising about him.
there. There. His name is Michael Robinson. He has a assortment of allies and contacts in the government, in police. Almost none of his social stuff is based out of Dubuque. Compromising. He's sending reports up to his superiors that are not 100% the truth, and he knows it. So he's making numbers and data look a little better than it is.
Do I get a sense about who his business actually works for then with his government contacts and what they actually are by knowing who he talks to? Who his allies are, for example?
You get names, but you would have to do follow-ups. Like the gift lets you know who they are, but when those people are purposely unimportant people in a bureaucracy to add layers, your brain is giving you an image of a dude sitting in an office in a city far away. You would have to follow that trail. It's nothing you could use against him right now.
Okay. And included in that is also status. So
he is status 4 in RD13.
No.
He is the guy in charge of this operation, but he is not status 5. He answers to people that are not here. Yes, Uncle Bill.
So, we will get into the information here momentarily. I would like to push for our local Iron Master to lead us in the Sacred Hunt, right? And we can designate our prey as this group of fucks.
I mean, that's accurate.
And
to get technical,
give us the benefits of the Siskerdad, not just for us, but for all the werewolves that are present. So it'd be all three packs that are present, including us.
Mm-hmm.
And since it's the Iron Master's version, that's the one that allows for us to choose what condition we inflict upon our prey for lunacy.
Sure.
Unless somebody has a better idea for one of the Sacred Hunt effects that we have access to.
Not for this stage of the hunt.
Okay. The local Iron Master, there's several local Iron Masters. One of them is willing to do it.
I was going to say, or John can do it too.
Yeah, I can also do it.
So
do it, John.
All right. I will.
What condition are you choosing to inflict?
That is a good question. I am not as familiar with conditions as I probably ought to be, but anybody have any suggestions?
Let's see here. I'm going to look at the specific wordings of the Siskadar first so we can make sure that we're doing it properly.
Delusion.
So it actually is an individual choice by the wording of it. The Iron Master Sacred Hunt grants your character the ability to choose which of the lunacy conditions she inflicts on humans while hunting the prey.
Okay, then I will just have you guys choose it as it comes up.
Okay. I don't know what all the different lunacy conditions are personally, so it's a good question.
It's delusion, receptive, and atavism are the ones for if they fail the check.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, not to interrupt when our stream, but that was a thing I wanted to make sure we got dealt with. So,
Okay.
Jim, what'd you find out?
I will give him the information about this guy and make sure that it's recorded down so that they can dig into RD13 later. Find out more about who's messing up their territory. But I'll give him his web of contacts, that he is high up, but not the highest up, and so on.
So
Okay.
what I'm hearing is we need to nap that guy.
That would actually not be a terrible idea, Spooky. That would be a very strategic choice for us to spare him, kill all the rest. Or
Could
leave them
probably
unable
manage
to
that.
identify what happened.
Okay. So, you guys have done lots of planning.
Yep.
How are you entering?
First time for everything.
Great. Gosh, no. Over planning is a staple. So I assume you go back to the physical. Then how are you entering?
So Spooky wanted to go by way of the fire escape.
Correct.
I was arguing to be the distraction, which is apparently something every single time I'm doing this. This is something I'm choosing to do. Me and my dog. What does everybody else prefer to do? Because otherwise we can have all three of you go by way of the fire escape, jump in, and then I can just be a distraction at the door until shit gets real.
Works for me.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
Okay, cool.
That's the plan then.
So, Jeremy, are you initially entering in human form?
Yeah, just human.
Okay. The door is locked. Do you knock?
Look at the Araka. Can you open this?
That's a fantastic question. I think I probably can.
If you don't want to use a gift, just Dex larceny. If you're just...
Yeah, I'm going to try without a gift to start with.
Okay.
Three successes.
Okay. Let me give guards a check to see if they can hear that. It's not going to be easy. Okay. Okay, you've unlocked it.
Hooray.
So now Spooky opens it.
Yep.
Okay. All the other werewolves, by the way, have successfully found hiding spots down by the trees, bushes, overgrowth, shadows around the factory. They are waiting for signs that shit has got real before they come in. So, okay. So you open the door. Instantly, two guards, a man and a woman, turn around and they're like, oh. And like the guy's like, I thought I locked that.
For the record, I have the Aura of Menace merit.
So what's the mechanics on that?
Part of it's just a +2 to being scary and stuff, but it also costs a willpower for people to attack me if they have less dots of intimidate than me, which is 4 in this case.
Okay.
So they are inclined not to attack me because I look like a scary motherfucker.
Okay. They nervously point their gun in your general direction and say, "Halt! Identify yourself."
I would like to speak to your boss.
Like, who are you?
Bring me your boss.
Okay. If you want to make an intimidate check,
I would love to. So, unsettling striking looks apply?
Yep.
Okay. So that and the bonus from the Aura of Menace puts me at 8 base. $10 dice. I forgot I have an attribute.
Okay.
Damn it, I'm just gonna keep almost getting acceptable successes. That's 4.
Okay. That's enough. The guy tells the girl to keep an eye on you guys, and he runs off, leans over the scaffolding, and shouts, "Michael!" Michael looks up from down below and then starts working his way up the scaffolding.
So while that's going on, I'm going to be at the side door. So I will have grabbed a bottle of alcohol from somewhere, probably the back of the truck, that we drove here in. Take a nice little swig of that to get the alcohol breath going, and just generally look like I'm disheveled.
Okay.
And me, the dog, this paper bag with the alcohol, and I suppose I will have the bow and arrow with set with me, just because that's just gonna make this weirder, and it'll be fantastic for them.
Sure.
I will be banging on that door, being loud and obnoxious, saying things like, "Hey, you gotta open up! Hey!" Just being loud and annoying as fuck.
Okay. So the pounding. Eventually, you start hearing them fiddling with the lock. As Michael's making his way up, the people inside begin to hear a whirring up of the machine that's towards the back. So eventually, guard opens the door, looks in, and goes, "Hey, old man, get out of here!"
Hey, no, man! You gotta. Yeah, I put my hand on the door to prevent him from closing it.
Yeah.
You gotta tell me. I was told by Jimmy down the way that you guys hire people on the side for some odds and ends jobs. I'm in desperate need. Desperate need.
I can. Do you have a resume, a business card, a phone number?
I am my business card.
1 second. And turns around, shouts, "Michael!" Michael stops like halfway up the stairs, looks back, and looks over at you guys at the door, and then says, "Code 47." And you guys are in initiative.
I was gonna say I rush him.
And here we go.
So Dennis, where are you positioned at this point?
Probably somewhere behind Spooky.
Okay, that's fair. So let me roll initiatives for people that are on my side. Jesus. Okay. Okay.
One day I will break 10 initiative with Spooky, but it is not today.
Okay. What does Spooky have?
Spooky's at 9.
Okay, and what does Jim have?
8 for the moment.
What does Uncle Ben have?
13.
Okay. What does James have?
Also an 8.
Jeez, guys. Okay.
Sad rolls.
So a couple things go before you guys. Okay. So The gate in the back of the building opens up, and some scientists begin to, with a sense of urgency, rush in. And you begin to hear the gates at the far sides of the buildings turn on. The guards that are at the door with you, Uncle Ben, hold their action and point their gun at you, telling you to get on the ground. The woman that's by you just points her gun at you and says, get on the ground, but makes no attack right now. Guards at the other entrances put down metal bars to reinforce those entrances. The scientists all frantically start gearing up, including the ones doing the control panel. Michael starts running down. He spends his turn getting down to the bottom. Sorry, the scientist guards rolled a 10 and a 9. Freak initiative. So they run down, and he's running to his little office, and he gets there this turn. So that's them. The guards that are facing you guys are holding their actions. Now it is Uncle Ben.
Okay, so they're asking me to get on the ground, my hands up, that sort of thing.
Yep.
I'm going to keep my hand on the door. I'm going to continue to sell the drunken, misfit, and going to say, no, you gotta understand. And then I'm going to haul off and just fucking punch one of them.
Wonderful.
That's
okay.
I will spend the essence to reflexively shift into the near human.
Okay.
Dalu.
Okay.
So that is
a delirium check plus 2 dice.
Yeah. And what were the conditions that we can inflict again?
Depends on whether he succeeds or fails.
Okay.
Okay. Guard 1 on you succeeds.
Okay.
They both succeed.
So I assume we don't inflict an actual condition on them at that point then? If they succeeded?
It's an integrity check, so they get an unless it's an exceptional, they're getting condition regardless, but it's shaken, guilty, or spooked.
What does spooked give us? Second.
It doesn't have any innate effect, but it's resolved when they do something stupid.
Okay.
Basically, it's the person who goes investigate the scary noise when they're trying to hide or something.
Yeah, no, and I'm going to actually inflict shaken then. I want to give them a moment of pause as I then fucking wall off and punch them. My commentary to the dog, which they probably have not seen at this point, is get him.
Okay.
As well. For when
roll for your punch. You didn't ask their defense.
Oh yeah, what is their defense?
3.
Okay. Bring me to this. Interestingly enough, it's the same as it would have been anyways. 3 successes.
Okay. Some of that gets negated a little bit by their armor. Okay. Roll for your dog attacking the same guard or the other guard.
We'll go with the same guard. What is I cannot recall the dog's cool
want
for
to
this.
say he has an 8. I don't have his stats in front of me right now.
Okay. We'll
Just
roll with
roll him
that.
with 8 minus 3 for defense.
Yep. One success plus whatever the bite does.
Bite does. Okay, cool. And then what does Shaken do?
Shaken as a condition is something that has frightened your character extensively. Anytime your character is taking an action where that fear might hinder her, you may opt to fail the roll before you made the roll and shed the condition. It can be opposed by a successful breaking point roll.
So it's up to you when you want to spend it, but it's a mostly player-facing mechanic. It's you're shaken, so you screw something up. But since they're NPCs, just expend it when you feel like it.
Okay. So they were holding their attack. I will say they take like a startled step back from you. And they fail to shoot you this turn.
Okay.
Okay. Then the next initiative is 12. You guys see as some of the scientists manage to step through the portal at the back of the thing. You guys see another group of scientists get knocked on their ass as a wave of water shoots out of the portal and hits them and rolls over them as a rank 4 river spirit, part of the Mississippi, comes into the room. And a bunch of tiny rank 1 spirits in its wake go and try to flutter. Some of them try to jump on the face of the down scientists that are like, ah! Yeah, that's its initiative, is entering the area.
Well, now we know which gate that is.
Yep. And you guys recall seeing a spirit similar to that, like entering the area, like rank 3 versions of it were entering the area and shoving around. So, okay. Then it is Nope. And then Spooky.
So, about how far away is the guy in charge?
Like 50, 60 feet forward, then down a flight of scaffolding. If you wanted to try to do a leap, it would be tricky as hell. It would be like a 70, 80 foot leap. I'm not going to do the exact math on it right now. But yeah, from your door, if you shifted into like dog or something, you could try to jump to him. It would not be easy. You could spend your whole turn like running to him.
So I will spend an essence to shift into big dog.
Okay. The guard looking at you gets a -2 dice.
Yes.
She fails.
I think delusion's the one I want. That's the one where they have to run away. Yeah, delusion. When facing the supernatural, something she suspects to be the source of this condition, she flees. If she cannot flee, she shuts down. Every action she takes that is not fleeing requires a willpower point.
Okay. So she flees aimlessly down the scaffolding. You can easily just run past her.
Okay. And yeah, my speed at that point in Little Dog is 20, which is 20 yards, so that's about 60 feet. So
Okay. So yeah, you could spend your turn running to get to the guy. As you run, you'll pass the other guard who also fails. You want him to get delusion as well?
Yep.
Okay. And then the manager, because he'll turn around from his desk and see Big Dog showing up. Manager does not fail.
Let's go shaken then.
He got an exceptional. Does that do anything?
Oh, then he doesn't get a condition?
Okay. Yeah.
That almost never happens.
Yeah. He just looks at you like, what the fuck? Middle management sucks. Okay, so Jim James, you have the same initiative. Which one of you wants to go?
It doesn't matter to me, but I do have a question. When we were scouting the building, did we spot where like a fuse box is?
Sure.
Okay. Can I get to that or see it from where we are?
Sure. It's like down below. Like if you jumped down from the scaffolding, it's like below down there.
Okay. So my plan is to jump down to that and use unmake on it.
Okay, cool. Does that require a check?
It does. I'm going to spend a willpower. That's 3 successes. If it is not currently attended, it does not get an opposed check. It comes apart into any individual moving parts. So like all the fuses basically just fall apart. So the whole building is probably not without power.
Okay, cool. So I can remove a few things. So the gates, like you guys hear the last whirring of the gates, and the last light you see in the building is like the final glow of the gauntlet gate shutting off. You see a few scattered headlights from the scientists that were getting ready to go in, but otherwise the place is now dark. Okay.
That's probably better for us, and also now they're not going to run through gates into random mysterious places.
For the record, werewolves have the penalties from darkness, so we're probably seeing better than they are.
Yep. Okay, Jim, what you doing? Factory's now dark.
So the plan was to kill these guys other than the head guy, right? I interpreted this correctly? All right, well, we're short on time, so I'm just going to jump in as Garu, spend the essence to reflexively shift, and down and dirty as many guards and scientists as I can get within claw distance.
Okay. Cool. So I double-checked how that works. How many do you want to kill?
As many as I can reach in a turn.
What's your dice pool in Garu to hit something with a claw?
That is 10.
How many dice do you want to subtract? Four? Did I see 4?
4, yeah.
Okay, so you'll be able to kill 4 if you succeed.
Okay.
So go for it.
While he's rolling for that, David, I'm also going to use my inspired condition on that check for unmake. So the fuse box in here cannot be repaired for a month.
Rude.
Super broken.
The statistically average of 2 successes, which I will upgrade to an exceptional.
Okay, cool. So you slice through 4 scientists. They're running to and through and like, let's go ahead, since they are not in good martial stats. When it becomes apparent there's a rank 4 spirit there, do you guys give like a little hoot or howl so the other werewolves come in?
Probably a good idea.
Okay. So in that case, I'm going to propose that I narrate what happens.
Let's do
Yeah,
it.
given that we're at noon, it's probably a good idea.
Yep. With the help of the other werewolves, you guys are able to discorporate the river spirit. And the little ones are nothing. The rank one spirits in the physical, if they don't manage to possess somebody, which they're sure given it a college effort. If they don't manage to possess somebody, they just essence bleed themselves out of existence, usually. And so you guys come in, you slice the throats and rip out the guts of the scientists they're trying to possess, and then they give you sad faces and then wait for you to discorporate them. The Popo are here.
Can we keep one of the scientists alive just so we have?
I mean,
another
I'm
person
trying to
talk?
seize the leader guy. So
You'll be able to keep the leader guy alive.
Okay.
You will beat him down. His will is too strong to be like. You guys encounter him, and he basically like gives you as he sees the lab he's been assigned is just getting torn to hell. If you've seen the movie The Pacific, or the TV show The Pacific, when the one lone soldier is alive after his whole troop dies, he's basically like throwing a middle management fit. He like, as Big Wolf Spooky is in front of him, he like picks up his laptop and just like tosses it on the ground, not to like destroy it, but just like, this job. and like holds his hands up. Like he doesn't try to put up a fight. He is not paid enough for this crap. Yeah. So, first off, for the purpose of post-episode harmony checks, does everybody here contribute or at least be a willing participant in the death of these humans?
definitely a willing participant.
Yeah, I would say I think our actions qualify as willing participants in this case.
Yeah, there's no way to argue against that part.
We will deal with harmony checks after we're done recording, after the Twitch stream's done. Okay, you guys managed to get him and a scientist alive. He's beaten down. He'll talk. What sort of questions do you guys ask him?
I mean, this is probably going to be more extended interrogation because we want to figure out what he knows about things, what if we get any more details on his contacts and stuff.
If you would like, we can pick up next session with you intimidating him. Like, we could pick up next session with you guys in the building, using the scientist headlights as light, and do you want to pause to ponder whether or not you would destroy the gates, or are you for sure going to go and try to destroy the gates?
I don't know. They're gonna die.
Okay.
I would think that we would probably want to wait to know what destroying the gates ends up doing before we do it.
So I'll hold that until after the interrogating. So we will start next session with the interrogating, and then if we need to get you back together with your other packmate players, we'll do like a 1 day, 2 day time woodgy, give you the results of the Dubuque people helping you out with your sniffing of the essence and giving you advice on local things. But yeah, otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and pause the action right here. Thank you to people that watched today. Thank you to people that will watch once it's uploaded to YouTube. Going around the circle real quick, I know at least one of us is available in other streams. So, Jeremy, where else can people find you?
I show up occasionally on streams for the Onyx Path. We're doing a Hunter the Vigil 2nd Edition stream on Wednesdays, because that Kickstarter is still ongoing. Otherwise, finding me on the internet is hard and difficult. Find one of these other people and they can keep in contact with me.
Fair enough. Dennis, do you have anything you want to advertise or talk about?
Nope, just that I had a lot of fun playing today. Look forward to gaming for all of you next week, and I plan on being here.
Cool. Ender, anything from you?
As stated at the outset, Ender Astreus, you can find me on my own Twitch whenever I actually do something. Otherwise, you'll find my friends and those people who I've made friends with that host on my Twitch channel. Please go see them. Includes things like Gehenna Gaming and Geek and Sundry and others, as well as Onyx Path. But in addition to that, if you want to get a hold of me, I do have an email, enderstrays@gmail.com, and more than happy to chat and play games with people. So, fun times.
John.
Oh, I don't have anything in particular. It was a fun game, and looking forward to next week.
Okay. Cool. As I said in the onset, I'm David Fuller. I have, if you want to see content I've written, all the official Onyx Path stuff I've done is still in the editing or development phase, so it will be a little bit before that's out. But if you go to DriveThruRPG and search for Guide to Cryptids, you will get Guide to Cryptids in North America and Guide to Cryptids in South America, where you can read about new Scion monsters, which is awesome. If you wish to interact more with the streams I do on this channel, you can go to Patreon and search for Gamer Behind the Rose, where different tiers will allow you to do things like name NPCs or vote in polls that affect the game. We will, in the next few weeks, be starting a new stream on this channel. On Tuesday nights from 9 to 11 Central Time, we will start a Dystopian Rising stream. Jeremy will be joining us for that, but other than that, it will be all new faces. Believe it or not, that will be a more lighthearted, slightly tongue-in-cheek game versus the modern-day, not post-apocalypse story that Forsaken is in. Yeah, go figure. I have been given permission by the fine folks at Onyx Path, those that know me and Jeremy and Dennis from Scion, Athens, Ohio. I now have full rights to that storyline. So here in the spring, we will start season 2 of that on this channel. More information for that will come when we get closer. Other than that, I thank everybody for joining, and I hope to see you next week. Have a good weekend. Bye.